A doting mom, an infectious smile. These are no longer the first images Heath Yamaguchi imagines when he thinks about his little sister, Ashley.
Does the dark overshadow the light for you at this point?
For a less of a better term, I guess, yeah. Because of what happened to her, like, I get scenarios in my head. It's almost like a nightmare.
A nightmare in which Ashley Yamauchi was beaten, sexually assaulted, and suffocated after leaving a San Rafael, California bar. But while her body was left out behind the bar for all to see, who killed her was much less clear.
This has been a difficult case from the beginning, and we have not caught a break on this.
In the hours after the discovery, investigators canvassed the area, starting with the large apartment complex immediately adjacent to where the murder occurred.
Did you have an abundance of witnesses?
Part of our investigation, we went and knocked on every door, and we couldn't find anybody that had heard anything. It had stormed the night before. Some people suggested that it was because the rain was coming down pretty hard. You'd think somebody would have heard something, but we're told they didn't.
Investigators also collected as much evidence as they could at the scene, including DNA from Ashley's body. But because of her prolonged exposure to the rain the night before, the tests come back inconclusive.
We found some physical evidence that is helpful. Technology has not totally come along to the point where we can test all of it.
So no smoking gun pointing to Ashley's killer and no witnesses outside the bar. But when police start asking questions inside, a clear picture of Ashley's final hours began to emerge.
Do you think it was random? Do you think she left with someone she knew?
At the bar itself really was the bartender and a couple of the patrons that were inside. This was close to closing time. What I know is that she went outside with somebody that she'd met in the bar. And who knows, a lot of people go out the back door to have a smoke, whatever. What we're told is that the bartender closed the door and locked it because he didn't want people going in and out of the back door. That was a business thing.
But Ashley's friend Kelly McCormack says she's heard a slightly different version of the night.
I heard she was talking to somebody who she knew that was in that circle, and some guy walked up and said, "What are you doing with my girl?" And that the guy she was standing with just ran away because he was scared.
No comment from police on that rumor, but Lieutenant Pata says they did eventually track down the person Ashley supposedly left with that night.
It took a little doing to find that person, but we eventually did. He was a person that was very interesting to us because he had some behavior things that made it kind of suspicious. You know, he pretty much picked up and left right after the incident. Didn't stick around, didn't come forward to the police.
But the man apparently denied any involvement. And with no physical evidence or witnesses to the murder, cops had no cause to charge him. Then again, he wasn't the only person police wanted to talk to. There was the father of Ashley's child, who police questioned and quickly released, and then someone else.
And you were saying at the time she had a boyfriend, police interviewed him.
I think so, yeah.
Parker Harper, Ashley's long-term boyfriend. Though the two had lived together for most of their 5-year relationship, at the time of Ashley's murder, she was staying with a friend before moving to New York, and Parker was living elsewhere. In fact, Parker himself says he was one of the first people questioned by police in the hours after Ashley's death. And now, he's agreed to sit down with Crime Watch Daily to tell his side of the story.
Tell me about that night. Did you talk to her that night?
You know, she texted me telling me that she was gonna go down to the bar. I just texted her good night, you know, be careful. And that was it.
And then the morning after,
I texted her a few times that morning and like she didn't respond, which wasn't really that odd. And I figured she was still asleep. And the police came to my work and basically took me outside and told me, you know, that she had passed away. From there, we went to the police station. Obviously, I'm going to be the first suspect because, unfortunately, in most of these situations, it is someone you know, and it is a man or like a domestic violence situation.
And even Parker admits there was reason to suspect this could have been that.
I just want you to clear up, if you could for us, there was a domestic issue years ago between you two where police were involved. Can you explain that?
We liked to party, you know, I was drinking, she was drinking, and things got out of hand, people got shoved. I paid for, I have anger issues, just something I really regret in my life.
Parker says he and Ashley quickly patched things up after that. As for what police thought,
past that first interview, I didn't feel like I was a suspect at all, but obviously it has to cross their minds.
Officially, police have ruled out no one. But according to Parker, as well as Ashley's friends and family, the relationship was strong. And even though Ashley was getting ready to move, temporary distance didn't mean permanent separation.
When you guys were talking about the future, your future, what did that look like?
Hopefully, like marriage and more family, but I mean, that was something we both wanted and talked about, but yeah, that really didn't happen.
She's pretty much your world at this point. I mean, she was your family, she was your best friend, she was the love of your life?
Oh, definitely, yeah. She's the only woman that I ever loved.
And when it comes to the person who so violently took her from the world?
What kind of worthless piece of steals an 8-year-old's mother because they can't have their sexual needs met? Disgusting.
So who was that man? After questioning multiple people and following up on several leads, police decide to go back to the bar to ask more questions. And that's when everything suddenly changed.
Now, I'm told this bar owner wasn't exactly eager to help out. Did he tell his employees not to talk?
We were told that they did not have to talk to us. And then all of a sudden, everybody didn't want to talk to us without a lawyer, which blew us away.
Coming up,
we do know that he was one of the last people to see Ashley Yamauchi alive.
I go searching for answers from one of Ashley's last contacts, and
I have this sick feeling that we may have talked to this person.
how close are police to finding the killer?